Time to sit back and give thanks here on Your Money. It's the Thanksgiving special. The meal deal's saving you a bundle this year. Plus turkey tips, how to cook the best meal ever to impress your friends and family. And travel to a Wisconsin cranberry bog to see how they grow a Thanksgiving staple. It's all right here on Your Money. Happy holiday season and welcome to Your Money. I'm Gordon Severson, here to help you save, spend, and invest your money wisely. Today we're talking turkey. It's our Thanksgiving special. We're going to get to the good stuff soon, the food. But first, let's talk about holiday travel. Millions of Americans will take a flight to meet with family and friends this Thanksgiving season. If you don't have your ticket yet, Allison Gormley shares some tools you can use to track prices online to find the best deals.
Holiday airfare often comes with a high price tag.
We see some of the most expensive prices out of the entire year.
Katie Nastro with Going.com said that's why it's important to book now if you can. To save money on a Thanksgiving flight, consider heading out the morning of.
People are honestly already at their destination, and you can save upwards of 20 to 30% sometimes on average.
If you're looking at December, set price alerts with tools like Google Flights or Hopper. On Google Flights, click Track Prices and you'll get email notifications if there are any changes. You can also look for this colorful badge to take advantage of the Google Price Guarantee pilot program. That means if you buy a flight and it drops in price, Google will deposit the difference into your Google Pay after wheels lift.
It really is a set it and forget it, which we love, but it's not available all the time for every flight that you're looking at.
As for Hopper, that's an app that will push notifications on your phone if ticket prices drop, as well as tell you if a price is good. Another savings hack to consider applies to airfare tickets not considered basic fare. If the ticket price drops after you book it, ask the carrier to rebook you on the very same flight and to provide you with an airline credit for the price difference. While this feature is kept quiet, it's worth an ask, getting you to your destination with a little more money into your pocket.
Keep this in mind, that when it comes to flying, the best way to save money is to do the exact opposite of what everyone else is doing. If everyone else is flying out on a Tuesday before Thanksgiving, fly out a few days earlier or later. If everyone else is flying in the morning, fly at night. If you're really looking to save some money, you might have to give up some convenience. Now let's move on to the good stuff, the food. Some big retailers are offering deep discounts this year. Target is advertising a $20 meal deal that you can use to feed 4 people. It includes a turkey and a few sides. The company says this deal is $5 cheaper than it was last year. Walmart also announced their inflation-free Thanksgiving meal that features 29 items and serves 8 people for less than $7 a person. Walmart also says their meal deal is also cheaper than last year. And Aldi advertises a 10-person meal deal that costs less than $47. You may be wondering, how can these companies afford to sell this food for so cheap? It's a common strategy in retail to offer cheap prices on select items to get people into the door. A great example of this is Costco with those cheap hot dogs and slices of pizza. So if you're taking advantage of one of these meal deals, don't forget to check the prices on your other items. Oftentimes people forget to check the prices on everything else because they're blinded by this great deal that got them into the store in the first place. There are so many tricks for saving money at the grocery store. Some people do price tracking, others clip coupons. But the newest strategy may surprise you. A growing number of shoppers are using artificial intelligence. Clay Gordon explains how you can use AI to plan out your meals and to find recipes and save money.
If you're like me and my family, coming up with a weekly grocery shopping list is a headache. Now you could turn to artificial intelligence for real savings.
I think there are 2 areas where money can be saved with groceries. One is adaptive meal planning, and the other is tracking grocery discounts.
Instead of writing your grocery list, write an AI prompt instead.
You can be as detailed as you want. So just to give you a word-by-word prompt, you could say, search online for the latest grocery discounts and promotions from my store and my zip code. I have a family of 4. My daughter is allergic to peanuts, and my son is lactose intolerant.
You can ask it to come up with dinner ideas for the week, a recipe each night, and to organize ingredients by grocery aisle.
Here's where it gets pretty cool, where old school meets the new school. Take a picture with your phone of the paper flyer, then upload it, and AI will do the rest.
And you can even do this from your couch by checking these grocery store social media accounts. So sometimes you might be surprised that actually your actual meal plan will not change much, but it will be repurposed around those discounts for your benefit and your wallet's benefit.
Then there is new technology coming to the grocery store.
There are lots of things that we are testing out in those different areas. One is an electronic pricing label, right? That's something that we're testing in the very early stages right now. That could be something that could save time and ultimately save money someday down the road.
Kroger says electronic pricing labels will only be used to bring the lowest prices to customers. For Consumer 10, I'm Clay Gordon.
We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we move on to the main course, the turkey. I sit down with the head of the Minnesota Turkey Growers Association. She shares some cooking advice, recipe ideas, and tips to save money. Our Thanksgiving special continues next. Well, when it comes to the Thanksgiving meal, the turkey is the star of the show. You spend a lot of money on your turkey, you spend a lot of time on your turkey. So I thought it would be helpful to have an expert come in and give us some turkey tips so you don't burn that bird and screw up the meal for everyone. This is Ashley Coles from the Minnesota Turkey Growers Association. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me here to talk turkey.
So one thing I've always been interested in is the turkeys that people are consuming around Thanksgiving. When were those turkeys hatched? How long does it take for the average turkey to kind of grow to maturity?
Yeah, so turkey farmers in the state of Minnesota are growing turkeys year-round. And if you buy a frozen turkey, that turkey could have been hatched kind of any time throughout the year. But if you're buying a fresh bird, those turkeys are typically hatched towards the end of June of this year. So it doesn't take very long for a turkey to go from hatch to the turkey that you're enjoying with your family around Thanksgiving.
Just a few months.
Yeah.
Wow. And so the turkey that people are buying at the grocery store for a Thanksgiving meal, is it typically a male turkey, female turkey, a mix, or what are they buying?
Yeah, so a lot of that really depends on the size of bird that you're buying. And so there are hen turkeys and tom turkeys, so the female and the male turkeys. Typically, tom turkeys are larger turkeys, so the turkey you buy in the grocery store is not typically going to be a tom turkey because your oven's probably not big enough for that turkey. Those turkeys are typically the lunch meats or some of the further processed turkey that you may buy at the grocery store. So most of the turkeys in the frozen case or even fresh birds are hens because they're going to be on the smaller side. They're going to fit in your oven.
So how does the turkey growing industry approach Thanksgiving? Because like you said, you're growing year round. There's, lunch meat. People will buy, fresh turkey, roasted turkey. But Thanksgiving, I'm sure, is such a big part of the time of the year for you all. How do you kind of approach that and prepare for that?
Yeah, so we grow turkey year-round. We encourage people to eat turkey year-round, and people probably eat more turkey than they realize. So if you go to a sandwich shop, there's typically turkey on most of those sandwiches. You can find turkey burgers on most menus these days. And actually, June is National Turkey Lovers Month, and so we partnered with KCBS Barbecue. It's a national barbecue chain to do they call them turkey smoke competitions, so added on to the typical barbecue competitions to encourage people to eat turkey year round. But you're right, so Thanksgiving is the Super Bowl, I guess you could call it, of holidays for the turkey industry.
One thing I've also wondered about is, a lot of people will get turkeys that are frozen from the grocery store. How long should they plan for to thaw that in the fridge?
Yeah, so that's probably the number one question that we get is how long to thaw a turkey. So we encourage folks to move the turkey from the freezer to the fridge for every 4 pounds of turkey, 1 day. Okay. And so if you have a 16-pound turkey, 4 days before you plan to cook it.
And I'm guessing it's probably a good idea to put something underneath that turkey in case some of the juices or something come out. You don't want that all over your fridge.
Yeah, absolutely. So we always focus on food safety, right? So you don't want cross-contamination from your meat products to your produce that you're going to also likely serve at Thanksgiving. So taking that turkey out of the freezer and moving it to the fridge and thawing it on a pan or in a big bowl or even a bucket.
And you don't typically want to be thawing it on the counter? Do you want to still have it in some cooler temperatures like the fridge?
That's why we encourage folks to take their turkeys out days ahead of time. And so if you follow Minnesota Turkey on social media, we put out reminders. If your turkey is 20 pounds, take it out of the freezer today and move it to the fridge, and so on and so forth. But there is also a way, so if it's the day before Thanksgiving and you forgot to take out your turkey, there are ways to rapid thaw your turkey. For example, in a cool water bath in the sink. But if you choose to utilize those methods, you need to cook that turkey right away. You can't do that and then leave it sit in your fridge for a few days.
Okay. So that's kind of a last resort
contingency
kind of
plan if you need one. Yeah.
And I know a lot of different kinds of meat have a different temperature that you have to cook it to. What's the temperature around for turkey?
Yeah, so 165 is the max you should cook your turkey to, because you want to have a juicy turkey and you want that turkey to be enjoyable, while you eat it, but also for leftovers as well. So we encourage folks to cook to 165. You take it out of either the oven, or if you're smoking it off the smoker, or if you're frying that turkey out of the fryer at 165, let it rest for 20 minutes and that turkey will be perfect.
Yeah, I feel like that's the number one problem that goes wrong with cooking turkey is it's dry and it's overdone. It is more of a leaner meat. Like, what are some good strategies to try to prevent that from happening? Obviously, not overcooking it is one, but what are some ways to keep it moist and good?
Yes. So besides when to take the turkey out and the temperature, probably the third most frequently asked question is, should we brine our turkey? And I've never regretted brining a turkey. So it's really a matter of preference for folks. But if you do choose to brine a turkey, which tends to have a juicier turkey at the end, take that turkey out of the freezer a day sooner, because you're going to want to brine that turkey for overnight or about 24 hours as well.
What do people typically put in a brine?
Yeah, so we do have some brines on our website, so minnesotaturkey.com, but typically it's water, salt, some sugar, and then whatever you want to season that turkey with. So I actually cooked a turkey over the weekend for my family. We smoked it, and so I brined it in some, so it's water, vinegar, and then some lemon juice, and then salt, pepper, garlic, and then the rub that I was going to put on that turkey, I put in that brine as well.
Okay. That leads me to my next question is, what are some cooking methods? Everyone kind of has a different recipe, but a lot of people, I'm sure, don't realize there's so many different ways to cook a turkey.
Yeah, so it's very intimidating if you've not cooked a whole bird before to cook that turkey for the first time, but it is simple to do. And so there's three primary methods that folks use when they cook a whole turkey. So you can do the traditional roasted in the oven, so it's 275 and 20 minutes per pound. There, for a while, it was really popular to fry your turkey, deep fry your turkey. The caveat with that is you need to make sure that turkey is completely thawed for safety reasons, and that's about 3 to 4 minutes per pound if you're going to fry that turkey. The newest method, and probably the most popular method right now to cook a turkey, is to smoke a turkey. And so you cook that similar to roasting in an oven, so it's at 275 and about 20 minutes per pound. Again, all three methods you take out once they reach that 165, you rest them for 20 minutes and serve.
And I feel like you also need to make sure you have a smoker that's big enough for the turkey, because smokers come in all sizes.
They do come in all sizes. So if they tend to be a little bit larger than your oven. And so if you want to cook a bigger bird, that's maybe a way to consider cooking a turkey. And if you need just a little bit extra and you don't want to cook 2 whole turkeys, bone-in turkey breasts are also an excellent option for a larger crowd.
And I know a lot of people who roast in the oven will use a turkey bag, and the thought process there is that it can keep some of the moisture in. Mm-hmm. Is that recommended? Does it help? Does it actually do what it's supposed to?
Yeah, so we cook turkeys all different kinds of ways for research and development, right, of recipes, and so we try to do everything potentially wrong, right, to tell folks what to do or what not to do. And whether you cook a turkey in a bag or not, I think the primary factor is not overcooking the turkey again. And so if you're nervous or if you have a history of potentially overcooking your turkey, cooking that turkey in a bag will help preserve some of the moisture within that turkey.
And I know a lot of turkeys that you buy from the grocery store will have the little pop tab that comes out. Yes. Is that something good to follow, or is it going to be overcooked if you wait for that?
I will say it's better than nothing. We do prefer to have like an instant read thermometer to check that turkey once you get towards the end of your cooking time. So that little pop-up thermometer is okay, but the best method is to have a digital read thermometer or an instant read thermometer to make sure that you don't go over 165.
Because it still keeps cooking after you pull it out.
It does.
And so I've heard it's a good way to not overcook it is to pull it out early, put it on kind of the oven or the range, and to let it cook for a little bit, and then it kind of cool down. Is that a way to kind of prevent some of that overcooking?
Yeah, so for some of our seasoned veterans who've cooked turkeys for a long time, that is one method, just to make sure that you pull it out a couple degrees early. But if it's your first time and you're unsure, we do encourage folk to make sure you get it cooked thoroughly. Your first time cooking a turkey is to leave it at 165. Even if you rest it for 20 minutes, you're still going to have a really delicious turkey.
Another concern I'm sure a lot of people have, especially people that have never done this before, is how big of a turkey do you buy? And I've actually just recently watched a TV show where they had a Thanksgiving meal, and they had like 50 people and they had one turkey. Oof. And I'm like, okay, that's not realistic. So it's like, what is kind of a good rule to follow with how much turkey per guest?
So if you are going to have a whole turkey, the general rule of thumb is 1.25 to 1.5 pounds per person. So that's kind of the general rule of thumb to have enough turkey to serve your entire group of guests. Again, if you want to have just a little bit extra, or if you like turkey leftovers, because we love turkey leftovers, buying a whole bone-in breast is another option, just to add a little bit so you don't have to cook 2 whole birds.
So if you have 10 people over, and doing the math, like you could probably make it work with a bigger bird.
Yes.
But
absolutely.
if you have more than that, you might want to do 2 or more.
Yep, 2 or a bone-in breast as well.
For sure. What are some good sides that go? There's obviously the classics that everyone does, but in recipes and things you do, are there some sides that kind of go overlooked that really complement the turkey that people should try? Yeah.
So in a lot of our consumer conversations that we have year round, but especially leading up to Thanksgiving, it's fun to watch trends and how cooking your bird, those trends change, but also the side dishes that are served with turkey around Thanksgiving. And we're seeing a trend now where like roasted Brussels sprouts, different types of macaroni and cheese are good additions that aren't traditional sides to like the green bean casserole or the sweet potatoes that were always going to be there, but they're new additions to the scene that complement turkeys, especially if you're going to smoke your turkey. Having some macaroni and cheese with it just feels right when you have a smoked bird. So those are kind of what we're seeing that are going to be top trends going into Thanksgiving this year.
And I know cranberries and cranberry sauce is like a very typical kind of a sauce to go with it. Have people been experimenting with any other kinds of sauces or marinades or anything unique like that?
Cranberries I think are a staple, not one that maybe folks of my generation appreciate as previous generations, but they're always going to be there. Again, it goes back to how you cook your turkey as to what is served alongside. So if you're going to smoke your turkey, you're seeing some barbecue sauce now on the Thanksgiving table, and maybe some of that has some cranberry infused into it for the spirit of Thanksgiving. But if you have a traditional roasted turkey, gravy is always a good side.
I guess my last question is, since we are a money show, when is kind of the best time for someone to buy a turkey for Thanksgiving to get a really good deal? Is it a last minute thing? Is it buy it weeks ahead of time? When is kind of the best time to get that best deal at the grocery store? Yeah,
so typically around Thanksgiving, what you see for prices in the grocery store of turkey, specifically frozen turkey, does not match what current markets are for turkey. So turkey is typically the loss leader in regards to how grocery stores promote turkey, because they want folks to come in multiple times to shop around Thanksgiving. I think the average consumer shops 3 times to get everything they need for their Thanksgiving table. And so it's the loss leader. So typically during the whole month of November, you're going to see a discounted price on frozen turkeys, whole turkeys, and turkey breasts. Now, if you're going to go down the option of a fresh turkey, that's going to be more reflective of what current market prices are for turkeys. So the current market price for turkey is going to fluctuate between now and Thanksgiving. So if I gave you a number now, it's probably going to be different than what you see in the grocery store. But your fresh birds are going to be a little bit more expensive than your frozen birds. And so as we mentioned earlier, we want people to eat turkey year round because it's a versatile protein, a lean protein, and it's delicious. And so we always encourage folks, if you're going to go to the grocery store 3 times, you can get 3 different birds if you have the freezer space, and enjoy that and try different cooking methods year round.
So the grocery stores are losing money on the turkey, but they want you to come in and buy the other stuff. So instead of just focusing on that money for the turkey, look at the prices for all the other stuff too, because that's a way to save money.
That's right.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and talking turkey with us.
Absolutely, thank you.
Coming up after the break, we take you inside a Wisconsin cranberry bog to see how they're grown, and the story of a wild turkey who is turning heads in Denver, how the neighborhood has embraced their unofficial mascot. It's all coming up right here on Your Money. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us here on Your Money for our Thanksgiving special. We already talked about the turkey. Now it's time to move on to one of the most popular sides of the traditional Thanksgiving meal, the cranberries. Very few people get to see how this unique fruit is grown, so we decided to take you on an adventure into the cranberry bogs of Wisconsin. Check it out. Thanksgiving is a time-honored tradition. For many, you can't have a Thanksgiving meal without cranberries.
Cranberries have long been a staple on the Thanksgiving table.
For Rochelle Hoffman, cranberries are more than just a holiday tradition. It's a family tradition that goes back more than 100 years.
Welcome. We are at Dempsey Cranberry Company. I am the 5th generation cranberry farmer. My great-great-grandfather, Charles Dempsey, started growing cranberries in 1900 when he was just 10 years old.
Since then, the family farm has grown into this 87-acre farm in Wisconsin Rapids, an even bigger farm in Toma, and a third family farm in Augusta. So let's dive in and see how this festive fruit is grown.
Cranberries are a evergreen perennial, so they don't need to be planted every year. In fact, they can live in perpetuity for well over 100 years. Some are still cultivated after 100 years. A lot of people think that they have to be grown in water, but in fact, we only are using water during the harvest time. We take a harrow and we drive it through the flooded cranberries, and it gently knocks those cranberries off of the vine. Cranberries have 4 air pocket chambers, so they are buoyant and they float, which is why you see them floating on top of the water.
Workers group the floating cranberries together using large booms. A pump then sucks the cranberries into a machine that shakes off all the leaves and vines. Workers will also put on waders and help guide the cranberries by hand, using special tools to push the cranberries into the pump. The berries get a quick wash as they're loaded into a truck. And they're off to a sorting and packaging facility where most of the berries will be frozen and later turned into juice and craisins, which is basically the cranberry version of a raisin.
Cranberries are used in a variety of different ways. Obviously, you're going to see them on your Thanksgiving table in a sauce, either a homemade one or maybe one that looks like a can. It's gelled, but it's not just a Thanksgiving fruit. It is a fruit that you can use kind of throughout the year. You can throw them in smoothies, you can put them in baked goods. As you're looking at the cranberries, you can tell not all of them are 100% red. Cranberries are a variety of different colors. You're going to see some white cranberries on there, you're going to see some pink ones, and you're going to see some red ones. The ones that are pink are going to be able to turn a dark red in the freezer, but those white ones, they're going to get optically sorted. If you've seen white cranberry juice in the store, we're able to use those cranberries and still make them into juice.
Several states grow cranberries, but around 65% come from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin is the leading producer of cranberries in the world, for sure.
We've got about 250 cranberry farms.
Tom Lochner from the Wisconsin Cranberry Growers Association says Wisconsin grows nearly 500 million pounds of cranberries every year, with an economic impact of nearly $1 billion. But why Wisconsin? How did this unique industry start here?
You know, cranberries grew here in the wild, and originally indigenous people collected them and used them for a variety of things such as food, dyes.
Eventually, farmers started growing them, and over time, more farmers joined in. And before they knew it, a thriving industry was born.
I think that cranberries have a huge potential for markets that are untapped, whether they're global or even in the U.S. I think that a lot of people think cranberries, they think cranberry juice, but I think that there's multiple uses for cranberries. There's so many health benefits benefits of the cranberry. They're full of antioxidants, vitamins, high fiber. They have a lot of great heart health, gut health, urinary tract health. There's so many. It's a true superfruit when you're thinking about health. So I think there's a lot of untapped potential as far as different ways you can utilize future uses of the cranberry.
Thanksgiving is all about slowing down and being thankful for everything you have. Well, in one neighborhood in Denver, people are certainly slowing down to appreciate the simple things in life. Like an unexpected visitor, a lone turkey who casually walks through the park every day, greeting people as she walks by. Ria Jha has the story.
The new guy on the block is usually the talk of the town.
We can ask people if they've seen her.
Or gal?
Henrietta.
Kate Lauer and her stepdad John Tope said their new neighbor showed up in Bible Park in May.
Call her Henrietta because she's a hen. So Henrietta seemed appropriate. Oh, is she over there? We found her.
1 foot in front of the other, Henrietta has been turning heads.
See, everybody likes to take pictures of her.
And stopping traffic.
Oh, here she comes. I first saw her, she was heading west on Yale, and it was just like, I think that's a turkey. There's a turkey walking on the street.
But how did she even get here?
I know.
People who've lived here for a while
26 years.
say Henrietta ruffled a few feathers at first.
A turkey in the park? No.
Yeah, this is definitely a first.
And one lone turkey.
Yeah.
But now she's part of their flock.
He's been here for a few months, yeah.
How often do you guys see her?
Every day.
Literally every day.
Well, yeah, he's become something of an instant legend here, the Bible Park turkey.
She's our little neighborhood mascot. She's been here since May.
Neighbors are worried their new mascot is a little too enthusiastic.
Seen her cross Monaco in the crosswalk and almost get hit by a car, so that was terrifying. She doesn't care.
While Henrietta trots to her own tune, the community is tuned in to her.
When she started to cross the street, I just stepped out and raised the hand and pointed that she was there. Yeah, it's a neighborhood watch for turkeys.
Gobbling up attention and creating conversations.
You start talking to people you probably wouldn't have talked to, kind of bond over the turkey.
Thanks to their new feathered friend.
Maybe we need more turkeys.
I know, maybe we can bring just turkeys back to the urban area.
Yeah.
Funny how a single turkey can make such an impact. I don't know how many turkeys there are where you live, but here in Minnesota, they are everywhere. So people are kind of used to seeing them around. I guess in Denver, they must be harder to come by. That's all we have here on Your Money. Thank you for watching, and happy holidays to you and your family. I'm Gordon Severson, helping you save, spend, and invest your money wisely. I'll see you next time.